On today's wrestling news, we've got new details on the Vince McMahon lawsuit.
Asuka says that WWE and TKO are taking action to protect her.
Maria Kanellis leaves AEW.
And several ex-WWE stars and legends and loads of other people have been spotted in Indianapolis for Royal Rumble weekend.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news times? My name is Phil Chambers. I'm joined by Gareth Morgan. Talk all things wrestling news. But first up, we have a lot of details on the Vince McMahon lawsuit. Now, this is coming from an amended filing to Janelle Grant's original complaint against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and the WWE, which is expanding this from 67 pages up to 101 pages. So it's a whole bunch more information on this, the case that involves sexual assault and sex trafficking. Now, as always with these things, we're going to put a link to Rain on the side of this video or just underneath, depending on where you're watching. They do amazing work in terms of supporting people, survivors of sexual abuse. So if you can give to them, that would be absolutely fantastic. And also, we're going to be talking about themes of sexual abuse, so if you don't want to hear anything about it, just skip to the next story in the chapter things below. But here we go. I've taken most of this from Post Wrestling's Brandon Thurston, I will say, because he has an excellent write-up of it all. So if you want to read the whole thing, he's got a wonderful thing on Post Wrestling. He's always really, really good at these kind of things. But one of the sort of major new parts of this is a thing that happened in or around September 2020. When Mr. McMahon instructed Miss Grant to create customized pornographic content for producer Michael Hayes and his crew. Now, obviously, Michael Hayes is a long-time creative executive and producer and is still with the company now. And there are screenshots of text messages in this complaint that she sent to Mr. McMahon. Now, one of them has Grant's body kind of obscured by text reading, "Dear Vince's crew, I hope you're enjoying these pics." Another image includes text reading, "Hey Michael, Vince's stories are true and I live up to the hype." Hayes wasn't previously mentioned in any of this lawsuit and isn't mentioned anywhere else in this lawsuit, so this is kind of brand new information coming out from this. There's also claims that Vince once video called John Laurinaitis and filmed Janelle Grant while she was nude without her consent, in which Laurinaitis then allegedly sent sexually explicit videos back to Vince, who then showed them to Miss Grant. We've also been given the name of the celebrity doctor from the initial thing. That's Dr. Colin Kolker, whose clinic is the Peak Wellness Clinic, where McMahon directed her to undergo treatments where she was prescribed substances that she did not know what they were. And as a part of a different filing, she's since been trying to get her medical records from him as part of a separate filing. We also have all the names of the WWE executives who were originally anonymized through the original complaint. Those people are WWE President Nick Khan, the former WWE Chairwoman Stephanie McMahon, and executives Brad Bloom and Brian Nurse. None are accused of abuse, but Grant claims that they are enabled Vince McMahon's misconduct through WWE, obviously. So there is a new paragraph in there that claims Vince McMahon continued to remind Ms. Grant of his control and that she felt watched and intimidated by McMahon and his executive enforcers even while she was outside of the WWE office. This also expands on an incident that happened within the WWE offices where McMahon allegedly pressured Grant to have a sexual encounter in his office in WWE headquarters. Grant says she suffered a panic attack at the suggestion and pleaded with Mr. McMahon to take her home. And then according to the lawsuit, Mr. McMahon insisted that they have sex either in his office or in his parked car in the parking lot, and she alleges that she ultimately agreed to go inside the building where the encounter took place. Then in the days that followed, Grant says McMahon left her a voicemail saying it was the greatest thing that probably ever happened in this building, and screenshots, including in the lawsuit, of texts from Vince McMahon saying, "I can hardly think about anything except yesterday," along with photos of his office. The lawsuit now explicitly names Brock Lesnar as the WWE superstar that McMahon tried to arrange a sexual encounter with as part of his contract negotiations. Janelle Grant claims that the encounter did not take place because of weather-related travel issues and COVID-19 concerns, but there is text messages from McMahon to Miss Grant saying that you have to take a flight to Greenville, South Carolina this Monday, even if it's just to see Brock. The complaint also includes, sorry, there's a lot of information, just trying to get through the whole thing. The complaint also includes where Miss Grant says in a text message from Vince McMahon in which he tells her, unfortunately, you have you appear to have my company over a barrel. And this is leading up to the NDAs that she signed in January 2022, which coincided with her departure from WWE and included a $3 million payout from McMahon. Now, Grant alleges that the attorney who represented her in the NDA negotiations was recommended by Dr. WhatCulture, the person formerly named earlier as Vince McMahon's celebrity doctor, and that McMahon was ultimately paying for the attorney's services, which obviously leaves huge questions about whose interests that attorney had in mind in these negotiations. She also alleges that she was pressured into signing the NDA because Vince McMahon needed to be able to tell the board that there was no pending litigation, something he could not truthfully do if the deal wasn't completed. She has a voicemail from Vince McMahon where I'm just going to read this out, where he says, so Jerry McDevitt is in charge of the effing audit of the books, kind of like thing. He's got to tell the audit committee there's no lawsuits, there's no pending this, there's no that, kind of like thing. And he won't do and can't do it legally unless I get this thing signed. So we need to work on this really effing fast, otherwise I'm double effed. Obviously the F words were slightly different words in there, but YouTube won't allow me to say them. So according to Miss Grant, Jerry McDevitt is a close legal advisor to McMahon for years and years and years, and was aware of the NDA discussions as part of his representation of Vince McMahon. The lawsuit claims McMahon feared that without the NDA in place, McDevitt could not tell the board there was no pending litigation, raising the risk that board members would discover that about Vince McMahon's relationship with Grant, which would then jeopardize both his marriage and his standing within the company. The NDAs also include a clause where any disputes would be settled through private arbitration instead of a public litigation. But such clauses can be unenforceable if a party has been found to be under duress when they signed it, under fraud or other extraordinary circumstances. And Grant is arguing that she was indeed under duress because she was being controlled by Vince McMahon at the time. She was desperate to escape her alleged abuser and obviously was being pressured by McMahon himself to sign this as soon as possible, whilst also having a lawyer that was being paid for by Vince McMahon himself, which seems like fair. They also point towards WWE, because obviously the lawsuit is WWE and the NDA is signed under WWE, but they also point towards WWE saying publicly that they had no knowledge of McMahon's NDA with Miss Grant because Mr. McMahon signed it on behalf of the company and himself, and so that they didn't have any knowledge of it. But if WWE didn't have any knowledge of it, how can they enforce a claim within it? So the complaint also includes something about their final encounter where Mr. McMahon allegedly forced her to give him oral sex, and this was after the NDA was signed. And this was the last time they ever sort of met face to face, which again would not be covered under the NDA regardless of anything else because it happened afterwards. The judge will now rule on whether the amendment will become part of the case. It's just been submitted at this stage, and then once that ruling is through, a decision will then need to be made on whether this will go through in private arbitration or in a public trial. Obviously, Miss Grant wants it to be a public trial, and that'll be the next big decision, and then after that, we'll actually be able to start making progress on this. So that is the majority of the information. There is more in there, and there is more in this post-wrestling write-up if you want to read the whole thing, but those are the kind of key points through in it. So yeah, like we say, we've got the RAIN donation at the side. If you want to support survivors of sexual abuse, please do so there. And yeah, it's just more grim details in this ongoing lawsuit.
Yeah, that's it. Nothing really more to add. It's just that they're just really awful details that have just been added just into what we'd already read a year ago now, which is crazy that it's been a year since that all obviously came out. Yeah, it's just awful. There's no really other way of articulating that. So if you haven't already looked into that information and everything that's out there on the internet, and you do just want to educate yourself on what is going down with all this, I do kind of encourage you to do that. But if you're somebody who does just want to kind of not focus on this side of wrestling and look at like some of the stuff that's happening actually like on screen and like the storylines and all the rest of it, life is pretty bleak, so I understand that as well, but it's out there. But also we've got another not exactly great story within the world of wrestling right now. We've got Asuka talking about in the last couple of days she's put out a few tweets that have been quite like concerning, really. She's been talking about fans. I think I'll go into the actual tweets that she put originally. So she's put I've been feeling in danger recently. I've already consulted the police. At this rate, even if fans approach me at the airport or in the city, I will feel the possibility that something might happen, and it will scare me, making me unable to respond. And then she put another post out saying, please don't have romantic feelings for me. It's meaningless, 100% pointless. So very much the feeling of just fans overstepping, like kind of crossing boundaries, just I don't know, invading personal space of wrestlers when they're just in the day-to-day lives, and stuff that we've seen a lot over the years. And it's worrying when it's getting to the point that a wrestler has to come out and post stuff on X or social media, wherever it is, and go, can we just stop with this? But she did write on Friday that WWE and TKO are taking action to protect me. I appreciate it. So that's good. That's obviously brilliant that like she has been looked after, as she should be, as like somebody kind of under contract with WWE and TKO. Just as a person in general, you shouldn't have to go through this sort of stuff. So I hope that does get sorted out really quickly. Whoever has been, like, it is harassment, it sounds like, at this stage. Whoever's kind of been getting in Asuka's personal space, and just don't do it. I can't believe we have to come on like a news video and say this to human beings, but just don't be horrible, and don't, like, read the room, right? If someone looks like they're just doing their own thing, leave them.
It's one of those scary things that's always, when you're in the public eye, it's always kind of, there's always going to be some weirdos out there, and it's like quadruply so when you're female as well. So yeah, just don't be weird is the sort of moral to all of these stories.
Yeah, don't be weird.
Don't be weird. But moving over to AEW, Maria Kanellis has left AEW. She put out a tweet last night just saying, this is my last day in AEW. Her husband, Mike Bennett, will continue working for them. And she did a couple of tweets later noting that they have like a family to support and things. So he is still there. In her time there, she's mainly been a manager within Ring of Honor, but she's also been very vocal about wanting to do more within AEW, but never really led to anything. They did sign a short-term extension at the end of last year. But as of, well, today now, she will be a free agent with no non-compete clause. So cue speculation about the Royal Rumble.
So the words out of my mouth. Yep, she's going to pop up. That's it. She's going to win the whole thing. Yeah, like, it is what it is. So, like, if she doesn't want to be there anymore and they've not, like, offered her a new contract or whatever it is, then yeah, like, they had a decent run. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's been a couple of years since I remember them doing anything of real significance with Maria and AEW.
Yeah.
So it might just be one of those where it's like, okay, it just ran its course and she can go and do other things. I don't know. I don't know if there is a place for her in WWE right now, or a TNA maybe, or NXT. We'll just have to wait and see. But, like, speaking of waiting and seeing what is going to happen tonight, I always get messed up with this. It is tonight. Tonight's the event. It's happening. The Royal Rumble's happening tonight, and hopefully we get loads of surprises. Hopefully we get somebody like Asuka maybe even popping back up, because, you know, she's been out for a while. I think, it was May of last year, I think she went down, so she could pop up. Maria could pop up, but other people, we've seen a lot of reports that have been saying that there have been people spotted in Indianapolis, Indiana. I got it right this time. And that's obviously where the Royal Rumble's taking place. It's not just people being spotted in a random state and people are like, oh, loads of wrestlers there, very weird. So previously there was reports saying that Jordynne Grace was spotted at the airport in Indianapolis, and that was backing up backing up recent reporting from PW Insider. Fightful then also confirmed it, that on Friday. They confirmed on Friday that she was planned to be in that match. And then PW Insider also said that she was spotted Friday morning in that airport and is 1,000,000% in the city for the Rumble. And now, both on Fightful Select and PW Insider, they've been saying that loads of other people have been spotted in Indianapolis, including Nikki Bella and a certain Matt Cardona have been spotted. So, according to Fightful, it is not really known whether Bella is, like, officially planned to be in the Royal Rumble, of course, because if they just came out and said that, it'd be not much of a surprise, would it? Or if she's just making an appearance at the show, maybe she'll sit in the front row again, like she did at the Netflix debut thing on Raw. So maybe, I don't know. Also, It mentioned that there are a lot of wrestlers in town for WrestleCon, so that's a good way of disguising it, going, they're just all here for WrestleCon, guys, not the Royal Rumble. I know your game. Also, Roxanne Perez is in town, that's according to Fightful, so she's appeared in 2 Royal Rumbles already, 2023, 2024, so why not make it 3? Why not, just pop up in the 2025 one? And PW Insider also confirmed Fightful's report on Nikki Bella being there in Indianapolis. And then PWI Elite have said that Matt Cardona, Mickie James, and wait for it, Phil, Hall of Famer Mick Foley has been spotted at the WWE Hotel in Indianapolis. So there you go. Mick Foley officially going to win the Royal Rumble. Can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I wouldn't put any money on Mick Foley if you're a betting person.
I'm putting my mortgage on Mick Foley, okay? I'm putting it on. It's going to happen. So yeah, Mickie James is currently a coach on WWE LFG. Legends and Future Greats. Sorry. Always gets me that one. And PWI have reported that there were conversations happening that the show's coaches could be in town to possibly do promotional work for the show. So Mickie James is attached to that. So that might be that, or it might be that she's in the Royal Rumble. We don't know. So the big kind of takeaway with all this is speculation.
Yeah.
Loads of speculation.
It's Rumble season. It wouldn't be Rumble season without wild speculation. I mean, you can, Matt Cardona, his wife is in WWE. She is a champion at the minute. Maybe he's just there to support her. He also really loves WrestleCon things because he makes loads of money. So he's probably just there for that, let's face it.
Yeah.
Mick Foley, I'm pretty sure they were doing some kind of Legends package thing where you buy a ticket and you get to have dinner with people. I think long-time viewer Larry Robb is going to be meeting Mick Foley this weekend, so that's probably the potential why he's there. A lot of these things you can probably write off as it's just a big show. Of course people are going to be in town, but also
did you say
maybe
Big
they're
Show's
going to be in the
there?
Royal Rumble.
This Big Show, Phil said it, Big Show, official. Big Show's going to be there as well. Wow.
But yeah, it's Royal Rumble season. It's exciting. Who's going to be there? Who knows? Join us live tonight. Me and Adam Wilborn will be doing a live watch along for the Royal Rumble. It starts at 11 p.m. UK time. Oh, beautiful stuff. What a time to be alive. So yeah, join us live on YouTube as we do a watch along for that. And also go to whatculture.com/tickets because we are going on a goddamn world tour. Sort of. It's got world places in it. It's near enough. We're going to be at Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow, London, and Las Vegas. 4 countries, technically.
It is.
So, yeah, I think it works. We're going to be at all these places. Tickets will be available next week. Sign up at whatculture.com/tickets to get early information and access to an exclusive pre-sale for all of the shows. And yeah, join us. It's going to be really good fun. What else?
I'm sold. I'll be there.
Follow us on social media. That's the other thing you do. At Phil My Chambers.
Yeah.
This guy over here.
At GMorgan04 on X, Twitter, whatever it is. At Gareth Morgram on Instagram. And then for all your personal training and fitness needs, it's at fitness.focus.gm on Instagram as well.
That's what fitness people do.
Fitness people! And we punch ourselves in the head. Ow. Concussion.
Have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye.